too. So, can you tell me what brought you in today?
I'm having a crisis about what to do with my life, just my career field. Trying to figure out what path to go down.
So what's bothering you about your career right now?
I just feel like it's not very permanent. I'm working in a coffee shop right now, and I just want to have something that's going to last more long term, more financially stable, that kind of stuff, and I'm just not content with where I am right now.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking of wanting to do?
I'm thinking of going into psychology actually, so something based on working with kids maybe. I like working with people, that's why I like my job now, but I just think I need something more stable along the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some advantages do you think would come out of being a psychologist rather than working at a coffee shop?
I think some of the advantages would be getting to see the reward of working with people. You get to talk to a lot of people and your stories in a coffee shop, but when you're actually in psychology, you get to see kind of their starting point and their ending point. I think it'd be very beneficial for me personally to see almost my impact on them.
Okay. So you're saying working at the coffee shop is less rewarding and you almost feel like you're not fulfilling your purpose. Am I right?
Yeah, I definitely say so. I think it just takes too much out of me and not necessarily getting enough back.
Okay. Yeah. So you're looking for something more of a reward, something to make you feel better about what you're doing as your career.
Yeah, I want to be able to see that I can help other people, and I think psychology is a good way to do that.
Yeah. What do your friends or family think about this change? Have they mentioned anything? Like, have they, do they not like you working at the coffee shop, or would they like you to pursue a different career? Is there a way that they can help you, like encourage you?
Yeah, I think they've been very encouraging, and they almost would rather I pursue something more with a graduate degree, something like that. So I think that in a way they'd be more encouraging of this. So in that way it would help me to see them, feel good in that way too. So,
do you think it would make them feel more like proud that you're using your degree rather than not using it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it might not even be what they're thinking, but just what I think, like I want to be able to make them proud. Yeah.
So, what would you like to try to do to try to get to that point of a new career? How are you trying to get there?
Talking with a lot of people, trying to figure out what the specific career path is. I'm trying to pinpoint a specific area in psychology to go into. So looking at key strengths and trying to not only get better at those strengths, but also build up the weaknesses that I have, but try to pair what I might be good at with a particular field in psychology, and just kind of carry on that way. Yeah.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, how important is it for you right now to pursue a new career in psychology? 0 being not important at all and 10 being very important.
I'd say right now it's probably an 8. I'm someone who's very indecisive, so I think I am very set on this right now, but I still have the hesitation of, is this exactly what I want to do? Just trying to make sure. But right now, today, very excited about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So why do you think you're an 8 instead of 0 on how important it is?
I think I've decided that this is like the main branch of the area that I want to go into. So I think a 0 would be like no interest at all, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I've gotten past the point, that was a while ago, so now I'm like at least a 5, so I've kind of moved up to an 8 with just researching more, trying to figure out exactly what to go into, and making it more specialized to me, and that's letting me hold on to like a higher level of satisfaction for it. Yeah.
That's great. What would it take for you to go from an 8 and make it maybe a 9 or a 10?
I think just clarification in that it's the specific right field, which might just take actually fully pursuing it and going to grad school and like trying to like actually set roots and kind of like almost turn back and just fully commit to it.
Yeah.
That's something that I have a really hard time doing. So I think it would be really beneficial, and could end up falling in love with it if I just committed, like put one foot in the door.
So is there a reason why you started to pursue psychology in undergrad, and then decided to change that to being a barista, and then like what made you stop wanting to do that?
I think it was just, again, the indecisiveness. So just trying to make sure that I'm fully enjoying everything that I'm doing. And so I had the same process. In undergrad, it was looking at passions and looking at skills. And at the time, it seemed like that could be barista, or I did film for a little while, so that could be something like that. But I think at the stage that I'm at now, it's looking at skills, like traits that I have more so, rather than passions, and pursuing through traits in my profession. Because that's kind of, I feel like one's traits is kind of what makes you up, like who you are, and so that's not really going to change over time. Whereas passions will grow stronger and weaker and all that good stuff, it'll switch in and out. So a little bit more substantial.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, like, earlier you're very indecisive.
Yes.
And you're just going down the road trying to figure out, you have all these hobbies, stuff that you like to enjoy, and you're just, right now, those hobbies are of less interest to you, and you want to pursue a different path.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you think it matches more to your traits. Can you tell me about more of those traits and what they are, and like, why do you think those traits relate to psychology rather than being a barista?
Yeah, I think just a lot of the traits that I have, like I enjoy and see in being a barista, such as just hearing people's stories, giving advice, listening to people, trying to show them that they matter, kind of thing, that you show in like the small ways. But as a barista, you really don't get to see any of the, end of the stories. You just kind of get to see like the pieces.
Yeah.
Which, being a psychologist, like, you might not see it fully. It might not tie up into this perfect bow, but I feel like it would be more beneficial to be a part of the process, and I feel like it still uses those traits. It takes listening, it takes being empathetic, and it takes, just genuinely wanting to help someone and be in their best interest and to hear them out in an even way. And so I think barista, it's more short-term. Psychology could be like the long-term version of that.
Yeah. What are some feelings you think you might have being a psychologist rather than a barista? Just being able to help people, and I guess like before you said how you felt that it was more meaning to you, and just being able to change people's lives and giving you that good feeling. Is there any other feelings that might give you?
Yeah, I think just also being in kind of the career field right now, just where it's kind of day-to-day changes all the time, and it's also something that it's not really considered like a full-time profession. So I think being in that for a while, you kind of start to desire the typical job and to kind of know your schedule, and which is crazy. Never thought that I wanted to do that, but not having that and seeing other people do that, you see the benefits. And like, if you're doing what you love, then it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's like you're there to help people from 9 to 5, but then it's also a full-time job as well. It just gives you a little bit more stability. So I think the stability side of that, and also just like being able to specialize and to be fully directed and to learn the techniques that could go into actually making a difference, instead of just having a conversation. Actually taking time to learn the tools that back up conversations and can actually make an impact.
So you're looking for more consistency in your job instead of just random hours every day. You want to be like invested in something and in people that you can see multiple times and work with someone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, what might be a good first step to try to get there?
I think Well, what I'm trying to do now is to focus on grad school specifically. So, actually taking the time to get a list of maybe 5 grad schools that I'm very interested in, and then apply to all of them. And then at that point, once the applications are sent in and sent back and everything, finally commit to one of them. And then that will get me kind of in the ballpark of starting psychology and going on this career path. Yeah, so I think just taking the time and the effort to actually pursue those resources online and just look up for schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna run into any struggles, or what struggles do you think you could run into while trying to do that?
I think just lack of motivation is a huge one. Now with just a regular job, like, it's very easy to do exactly what you want and to not kind of take the time, and almost like it's almost made homework to look up things for your future that seem a little scary. So just taking the time to actually put that as an investment and the number one priority and just getting it done, that's going to be like the biggest hurdle is just getting it done,
Yeah.
basically.
So some setbacks you have are just lack of motivation and just like being comfortable with what you have now, and you're thinking it's like more of a like it's kind of just an extra thing you have to do on the side.
Yeah.
That you don't feel like you have time for.
Yeah, definitely. It almost seems like this big overarching, just like shadow where it needs to be something exciting and something that I look forward to instead of, kind of dread. But I think it's just because it's fear of the unknown and actually making that huge life decision, because it's not just like next year, it's the next 3 years and maybe future. So it's all that combined.
Would you consider maybe like making a schedule, or like do you have a planner that you use at all?
No, actually
Or
not.
a calendar?
Yeah, okay. So maybe make a schedule.
Maybe just like write it down so you know it's set. Maybe 30 minutes a day or every couple days of putting that aside to look up grad schools, so you could see that, and maybe seeing that could motivate you to have like that responsibility to look up grad schools and make sure you're actually doing it and not just falling back into your routine of being a barista, and like making sure you're actually like pursuing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Do you think that would you be okay doing that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is gonna be this overarching thing the entire time. So it's kind of breaking that down and making it like almost that necessary task that has to be done.
Yeah.
Will help it to become a more exciting thing once things start going. Yeah, I definitely think that could help a lot.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
there like something in the past that you wanted to change and you had to go through like a process to change it? Like maybe changing from psychology to a barista, did you have to make certain like responsibilities throughout your day to make that change?
Yeah, totally. I think, well, I just switched majors a few different times, and I'd say my most drastic was from psychology to film. And so it was basically getting an internship and working at an internship and learning the ropes there, and it took me doing that to figure out that's not what I wanted to do. So I thought about maybe doing an internship with psychology type stuff to make sure that this is the set path
Yeah.
before actually committing the next few years to this and not liking it later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you had to go through then, trying to find internships and that process of learning how to get into film, I feel like you're kind of just having to do the same thing. So whatever made you motivated to actually like pursue getting those like internships and all that, it's like kind of what you have to do now is like learning another subject. You're just so I feel like if you've done it in the past, you have the strength and ability to do it now. Like, do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a lot of cheerleading from other people, which was nice, and people get excited about what you're going into, and if it's something a little bit more extreme, then they're backing you. They're almost like, why are you doing that? But they're backing you. So I think at at this point, people are used to me changing a lot, but there's still a good cheerleading support system. But maybe I do need to lean on that more in order to feel like almost not to let them down
Yeah.
and continue on.
What are some of those support systems that you have that are helping you?
I definitely see parents. They are definitely encouraging in kind of whatever that I want to pursue, but are definitely people that I personally don't want to let down. So trying to figure out things is like definitely for me, but also I'm motivated to make them proud and
Yeah.
to pursue something of substance in a way, like to have the purpose, whatever I'm doing. So yeah, definitely them and them just backing me and encouraging me, and then also like checking in with them and telling them exactly what I'm doing and like getting their feedback as well. I think that's like super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I got from you today is you've been juggling multiple hobbies and careers, and you've finally figured out the career that you are wanting to go down now, and it's just getting the motivation from your peers and other support and motivation from yourself just to try to pursue grad school and getting a career with a job that is consistent, and you get to feel like people and get to know them, and it's just more fulfilling for you, and you're just trying to get to that point. So you're gonna set aside some time, maybe this week, maybe write it down.
Yeah, definitely.
We could go from there.
Yeah, just take some baby steps on the way. So yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.